The Raiders are a really interesting team. We don't love the ownership, but they have a new front office, a new coach from New England.
If Josh McDaniels don't turn the team around this year, it's to be fired.
Not a lot has gone right for the Raiders under this regime.
They're doing what they do best. They are trying to lose. They should probably find a new hobby because it is going to be a disaster.
Raider Nation, another week. It's week 2, man. Raiders versus the Bills. We've got a ton to talk about. We're going to be breaking down the preview of our team looking for a win out in New York. So, look, man, buckle up. We've got a big show. I want to hop into the chat real quick. SVT is hosting the chat tonight. Back at it with the pre-live host, SVT. Shout out to you, and thank you guys for sharing this to your IG, all your social media platforms. Let other Raider fans know where you're at tonight. So, if you have not yet, smash the like button. Egalitarian, what's going on, man? Shout out to you. Thank you for pulling up and spending some time with us previewing the Buffalo Bills. This is a big matchup, guys. It's a big game. I'm excited for it. SVT says, I see you, Egalitarian. So without further ado, man, let's not waste any time. We're going to jump straight into it tonight. I'm going to try to get to the point. Today is my daughter's 4th birthday, so I'm going to spend some time with her tonight and celebrate that, man. She got a bike for the first time today, so that was fun to kind of share that. But, man, let's get into it, man. Pharaoh.
Hey! What's going on? What's going on? Salute to the chat. Salute to the nation. Appreciate everybody coming through. Man, it's that time. It's that time of the week, man. Tomorrow
is a big matchup.
Yeah, it's a huge matchup, man. Every week counts, man. That's one of the things I love about the NFL. It's like every game counts, including this one. This is a big game in that, you know, it's a super talented Bills team, and we're trying to figure out this Raider team. You know, they did win that last week, but it was an ugly win. Now you're going against a team where you can't get away with some of the stuff that they did last week. So
no,
I'm super excited to watch this game. But yeah, man, what's up with you, man? Hey, happy birthday, man, to little Rita. Is that what we call her?
Rita. Yeah, no, I mean, it's Harper. Her name is Harper Grace. She's 4 years old today, man. We got her a bike. We rented out a bowling alley, had some family. So, man, it's just been a good day. So we're kind of carrying that over in tonight and just kind of letting her stay up and have a good time. So,
yeah, happy birthday to Harper. Happy birthday to Harper.
Yeah, man, these years don't last long, man. So it's kind of like time is like water in your hands, right? It just kind of runs thin. So
yeah.
Spend time with that, man. So, but yeah, big type of game, man. Week 2 versus the Buffalo Bills, and in the AFC, man, it doesn't get any bigger than this. I think this is a huge test to where the Raiders really stand in the AFC. And thankfully, I'll be honest with you, we get them early on in the season where things can happen, right? Where maybe in the middle of the season, towards the end of the season, where teams kind of look more solidified in what they run and their scheme. This might not be as close of a game, but I think the Raiders are going to come out. They're going to play aggressive, and I think that they're going to get the best Buffalo Bills team that we've seen this year.
Yeah, man. I'm like I said, I'm super excited. They all time, you know, they're pretty much tied up 21-21. So this is a big game in the sense that they need to break that tiebreaker, and the Raiders are tied up all time. I think it's including. I don't know if it's I think it's including the regular season and the playoffs, 21-21. But yeah, man, the last time the Raiders won was in Buffalo. I mean, was in 2002. Ooh. So the last time the Raiders won in Buffalo was in 2002. We all know the Raiders struggles when it comes to that East Coast time game. So that could be a part of it. Obviously, the Raiders had their struggles as a team. But yeah, that's a crazy, like that's been over 20 years, 21 years since the last time the Raiders won in Buffalo. So it's going to be a lot of firsts. Hopefully, it's going to be a lot of firsts happening for the Raiders in a good sense, and then they get that W. But yeah, man, I'm super excited, man.
Yeah, and as a whole too, I'm excited about, Josh McDaniels has played a lot of games up here in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a history, so this isn't like uncharted territory. This isn't just an unlikely travel. Look, they've been out in West Virginia this entire week. They're going to be ready to go come 1 p.m. Typically when the Raiders have pre-traveled out to their areas, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like they've played better. They've gotten off to better starts in those games as opposed to hopping on the plane, flying there the day of, and kicking off the game that way. I feel like we come out pretty sluggish and lackluster. So
Yeah.
overall, man, I'm pretty excited as a whole. Where are you at as far as the Raiders and the Bills collectively as teams right now? Do you think that this is going to be a pretty even game across the board, closer than what people think, or do you have a feeling that this could be a potential blowout? Where are you kind of at right here?
Like I said, I'm like when I said earlier, I said I'm still trying to figure out this Raiders team. Last year, I went into the season thinking that the Raiders are going to do this, they're going to do this, thinking that everything was established. They have a lot to prove in my eyes. There's still some questions that haven't been answered as far as the D line. You know what I mean? They need to get someone outside of Max Crosby to get some pressure, which is going to be a huge component of this game. When you look at the Bills roster, they have every player at every level of their team, whether it's offense or defense. When you talk about their defense, the D line, linebackers, secondary, you name it, they got it. Obviously, their offense is led by Josh Allen, talented receivers, tight ends, and they got a guy that's who's I think they're going to be incorporating this game. James Cook, running back. They look like they're going to be. They're probably going to establish him in this game, especially, and we'll get into some of the things in a second as far as the matchups. But yeah, man, like this is going to be a tough game. When I look at the Raiders, there's definitely some holes on this team, talent wise. When I look at the Bills, I don't see that as much. The Bills
Right.
are a Super Bowl contender. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like this is not one of those games where I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, the Raiders are gonna blow this team out. The Raiders need to go in with a good game plan, and they just need to play better than the other team. You know what I mean? Talent wise, I'm not sure if they're there yet. I don't think they're there yet. It's going to take another offseason to build this roster, but can they get out? Can they steal a win from Buffalo, who's coming off a Monday Night Football game overtime win? They've had their share of like offseason stories. I think people talked about the Diggs situation, Josh Allen. We'll see how that shakes out. So, but I'm like I said, I'm excited about this game. This is going to be a very good test for the Raiders and to see where they're at.
Yeah, and do you have an injury report by chance pulled up?
Let me pull that up in a second right now.
Okay, and I'm gonna address the chat because man, they're pulling up, they're talking, so I just want to kind of get to them, man. Let's go up. Gosh, you guys are going hard. Okay. Rude Boy says happy birthday, Harper Grace. Man, I appreciate that, you guys, for the happy birthdays for my daughter. W on the bike, man. Kids grow up fast for sure. Yeah. Hey, it feels like yesterday we were at the hospital when she was born. It's kind of crazy. And now I'm on my second one and he's growing up fast. Raider Alex, I appreciate you, man. Rafa's in the building. He says happy birthday, Harper Grace. Anthony Estrada says, yo, salute my dude, Raider Ray. Blessings to you and your entire family. Blessings to you too, Anthony Estrada. I appreciate that. Anthony Provincia, upset alert. Hey, let's hope the Raiders can come in here and kind of spoil things in Buffalo. Lafayette says, sup, Ray. Sup, Pharaoh. Rude Boy says, for sure, I support Double R show. We Raiders, bro. Facts. 100%, man. I appreciate the love. And everybody that's in the building, man, go smash the like button. Go run up the likes, share, let people know where you're at on your social media. I'll repost it to my IG if you guys do share that on Instagram. So I will reshare that. And it just helps us. It helps the algorithm. If you guys want to type in FTA in the chats for the algorithm, it's a very real thing.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Jerome is in the building. Shout out to you, Jerome. Thank you for pulling up. Anthony Provincio, Richard Lyon. What is going on, Richard? I hope you're doing good, my friend.
Appreciate you coming through, man.
All right, man. All right, cool. We're caught up on the chat. Let's share this injury report. Let's kind of dig into this a little bit.
There was a little bit of concern earlier in the week when we seen Adams on the injury report.
Yep.
Obviously, Jimmy G. DeAndre Carter has been dealing with a knee issue since last week. He popped up so he's kind of been dealing with some issues, but I think he looks like he's going to be good to go. Chandler Jones, man, let's get into that just real quick. Like, man, like he's over here calling out the owner now. It seems like every week now before the game, he's just got something to say. And he makes it seem like he knows something on that Mark Davis that might be crazy. I don't know, man. This guy every week he's causing some type of trouble. But
Do you believe that though?
I don't know. I don't know
what does he have on Mark?
I don't know. You never know, man. You never know. Like right now, the Raiders haven't said anything.
If it was that serious, do you think that they would let him play? Like in fear that he would actually release that?
But what's interesting is that he had text messages. This is probably, we looked into it like a week ago, a couple weeks ago, and we looked at the date of those text messages. So this, whatever happened between the Raiders and Chandler Jones happened during training camp. And it was something big enough where they didn't want him back in the Raiders facility. So they're just, I don't know what they're doing. They're trying to figure out, I think they're over there plotting. But that being said, this is not a good look, man, for Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, man.
You think it for them?
Yeah, it's to me, it's a big. You have, okay, just real quick, and you know me, I like to keep it positive, but I'm also aware of people's mistakes and regimes, and I'm going to be as positive as possible. But if they start making mistakes, I start, putting down a list like, they traded away 2 of their draft picks last year, a year after drafting them. Their D tackles. Well, they traded away Neil Farrell, and then they cut Malcolm Butler. And okay, I'm looking at that. I'm like, all right. And then you look at Chandler Jones, man. That was a big contract they gave him, a lot of guaranteed money, and this guy's not playing. Max Crosby needs help. Like we need to, during the offseason, I was excited about, okay, Chandler Jones lost some weight. Okay, he's probably going to be more focused. He's going to want to, bounce back, but he's not here. He's not helping his team. And that's a lot of cap space that he's taken up that we could have gave to another player, another.
But you think that's on Josh and Dave though, and not Chandler's character?
No, that's this is their guy.
Yeah, but you can't predict that. I don't think that
predict. This is their guy though, bro. This is their guy. They know this guy back when the Patriot days. You know what I mean? Who do they want on this team? Their guys. Who are their guys? Guys that played with the Patriots because that's their background. So if you're going to say that, then every guy that you put on this team that you got to stand on it. And, at the end of the day, you got to keep them accountable. We can't just act like, oh, that's not a big deal. In my opinion, that is a big deal. To me, I'm looking at it. But is it like, okay, we need to fire Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler right now? No, but we still got to talk about it. Hey, man, like that Chandler Jones thing is crazy. And it's not the first. Let's keep it real. Yeah. He was traded from the Patriots to the Cardinals. He was a talented pass rusher, and the Patriots traded him away because of stuff off the field.
But I would say, too, like history in Carolina and Arizona, I don't think he really showed concerns in that aspect. And then last year, there was absolutely no concerns. He was a team captain last year. And the fact that nobody on the team has come out in defense of Chandler, think about that. Like, this is a locker room who's pretty vocal about things going on with the regime. And I know they keep it tight wraps on social media, but look, nobody has come out in the defense of Chandler.
Right. And hey, you know what? And I hope whatever's going on with Chandler, I hope it's nothing too serious. Hopefully this is something, but I don't see him coming back. I just don't. Like,
no, yeah, I would say
you're throwing Josh McDaniels under the bus, Dave Ziegler under the bus, the owner under the bus. How do you come back and be like, hey, my bad, guys?
Yeah, we're all good.
We're all good.
Yeah, no, it don't work that way. No, I think you're right. Me and T Severe were talking about it off camera a few days ago in the comment section on one of my videos, and we're in agreement. I think that the Raiders are going through what they can do to get content, detrimental to the team.
Yeah.
To get him out of there. And if they could do that, which, to be honest with you, I think that they have the evidence of once you start releasing text messages online, I'm sure there's somewhere in the fine content You know, it was similar to the AB situation, right? When he released the John Gruden phone call.
Yeah.
Like once you do that, you're releasing information that's private. And so I think if the Raiders want to, they could definitely get him out of here without owing him any money.
I want to see it happen. I hope.
You do want to see it happen?
I want them to get out that contract with no money owed for sure.
If they get out of that contract with no money owed, are you gonna hold it
but-
over Josh and Dave?
Yeah, because it was a mistake by them. Because we could have had someone else.
Yeah,
we could have had someone else, and we could have drafted someone else too. You know, those couple of draft picks. We got to look at that. All I'm saying is just keep people accountable. Is it the end all be all? Hopefully not. Hopefully there's going to be more good stuff to come. But in my eyes, I think that's right now. That Chandler Jones, it looks like a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
Gosh,
and when you start talking like, oh, we can get our money back. Hey, that's what they said about Ruggs.
Yeah, did we never get that money back?
Nope.
Nope. We got the money back for AB though, right?
AB.
I thought we did.
Yeah, because that was actually in his contract.
Okay.
Chandler Jones' contract is guaranteed, so they're gonna have to really, like, Chandler Jones got to be like on camera saying, like,
reckless.
Yeah, it got to be like crazy, like, because he's owed this money. I mean, but you know, at the end of the day, we don't know every little detail in that contract. So the Raiders, you could see like they're probably handling this very in a way where, you know, they don't want to mess up anything. But I mean, if they can get rid of him, I bet you he would be gone. Without any money owed, he would be gone. If they could trade him, he would be gone. But they can't. Who wants to trade for a guy like this?
Well,
right
yeah,
now?
you're definitely not going to trade for him.
No.
You're going to release him for sure.
No.
Bro.
But yeah, let's get back to it. My bad. I just wanted to have a real conversation with y'all, including Ray. I haven't really talked any football this whole week, since Tuesday. You know what I mean? I try to keep it fresh, man. Keep it real.
Yeah.
But going back to the injury report, Chandler Jones obviously is out. He's not playing. But Myers, I think this is a good call.
That's a great call.
Yeah, he should be playing. And then we got Meredith and Trayvon Moore. Earlier in the week, they were on the injury report. They practiced in full. They should be good to go. Illuminor, same thing, limited. Practice in full. Bill's pretty healthy.
Pretty darn healthy for coming out of a physical football game.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, that's big for them. Look, to be honest with you guys, even based off of the health of the team, I mean, just look at the numbers of players that were dealing with something. We're going to get the best Bills, you know, and
yeah,
to be honest with you, we talk about it. I personally don't like it any other way. So I want teams at their best. I want the Raiders at their best. I would like to see this list a little bit more cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, we're going into another physical game with Buffalo, and we got to bring our A game. So you want to hop into matchups?
Yeah, let's get into it, man. Do you got the banners up, or we just hop right into it? All right, matchups for the Bills, man. Matchups for the Bills. For me, the Raiders O-line and D-line. And I'm gonna actually go to a key stat right now. The Raiders O-line, man. That's one thing I'll give Josh McDaniels, the coaching staff. They were able to come in here and yeah. Could you hear me? Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me see if I could. All right. Can you see this? Low. Ray, you with me? All right. But yeah, man, I wanted to get into a key matchup between the Raiders O-line and Raiders D-line, man. The Bills D-line is super talented. Von Miller is not going to be a part of it. I think he's still hurt. But that being said, they still got some talented rushers, man. Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, Shaq Lawson, and then, you know, they have a rotation of Jordan Phillips, AJ Espensa, Puno Ford. It's a solid rotation. And they got a pretty good, I don't know, I think Ray's dealing with some technical issues, but they have a really good D line. And this stat right here, it as you can see, it says that it measures from 3 sources: PFF, SIS, and ESPN. So Raiders are number 1 after week 1 in this O-line measure. I think Josh Jacobs, McDaniels and Ziegler, the coaching staff, they're able to put together this O-line group and coach them up. And it's showing since year 1 to now. I think they've made some big improvements. It's not perfect. I think they need to improve in that run game, but I think they've been doing a great job, and it reflects it. The NFL is noticing right now. I don't know if you could see this, Ray.
Yeah, I see it. You hear me?
Yeah. So you can see them number 1 in the league, which is a very, very good stat in pass protection. But I think this is going to be a big key component in this game, is if they can protect Garoppolo and obviously establish the run game. This D-line had like 3 sacks against the Jets. Even though I mentioned that Von Miller, is not going to be playing this game, Leonard Floyd is, and he had a sack and a half against the Jets, so he's a guy to keep an eye on. And man, and I don't want to keep going. That was like my matchup, but yeah, I think O-line and D-line is going to be a big matchup in this game.
Yeah, and I think this is pretty. To be honest with you, we've seen a lot of 12 personnel out of Buffalo going against the Jets, going up against a tough defense with the New York Jets. They ran a lot of big packages. So Knox, Dalton Kincaid, a lot of those guys got 80% of the snaps for the Buffalo Bills offense. So I think that this actually might be more similar of a game that what we've seen with the Raiders and Broncos. Physicality, and for me, just to lean into the offensive line a little bit, Greg Van Roten versus Ed Oliver. I think that's going to be big. Leonard Floyd and who is it? Gregory Rousseau and Jordan Phillips, those guys that are on the edges.
Right.
I like that matchup with Colton Miller, and I like that matchup with Jermaine Illuminor. I think those guys are going to do all right.
Yeah.
It's interior for me. Ed Oliver is a problem. Ed Oliver is a man mover. So you got to remember, Greg Van Roten is playing against a former team. These guys know his tendencies. They know where his strengths are. They know where his weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, look, you're going to, I believe Andre James and Greg Van Roten are probably going to have to double Ed Oliver at times. So I'm curious to see, at the left guard situation of what we're going to be able to do one-on-one. Like, there's just a lot of fun matchups in this game. There's games within the game that I'm looking forward to. But look, Matt Milano of the Buffalo Bills defense, probably one of the best linebackers in the league. Like, watching him versus the Jets, he just pops off the screen. He's one of those linebackers I wish the Raiders had. Just a difference maker when it comes to pass coverage, coming downhill, blitzes. This is a very aggressive defensive front who are going to show you a ton of looks. They're going to run odd formations, odd coverages. Raiders have their hands full. So these guys up front, if they're number 1 in the league, if they could sustain that against the Buffalo Bills and still come out on top, I think the Raiders' outlook on the 2023 season up front is going to be pretty good if these guys can have a heck of a day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is going to be a big part of this game, man. It's going to there's a lot to this game. It's a lot of games within the game, a lot of matchups that we're going to be looking at, but that are going to happen. But for me, the next big matchup is the Raiders' run defense versus the Bills' run game. And I'm not saying that the Bills have the best run game, but I think from what I've seen against the Jets, I think James Cook looked good. I think that I think he's a solid running back. I think he's going to take that next step this year. And I didn't really like what the Raiders' run defense did against the Broncos. I felt like the Broncos were able to make some holes. Even though the Raiders didn't give up over 100 yards of rushing, they were pretty efficient against the Raiders, the Broncos, last game. And they averaged about 4.3 yards per carry, total of 93, 94 yards. And I think that if this gets away from them, if they lose this matchup, that's going to set up. That's going to set up play action. And you know what Josh Allen's going to do with play action. He's going to be looking deep, and you're going to put your secondary at a disadvantage. That huge gap in the open middle in the field. The linebackers are going to get sucked in. It's just going to be a lot. And, Josh Allen's going to be ready this game. He's going to be he's going to take his shots. He's a gunslinger. So I think this is a big matchup for the Raiders to win. Get that run game out the way early, and start making Josh Allen into that gunslinger, and to put him in those long and distances, like third and long, and have him, give our secondary a chance to intercept the ball. I want to see some turnovers. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be huge.
The only problem with that for me is, as I was digging into it, the Bills are undefeated a game after Josh Allen throws 3 or more turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, I think the Bills are going to get the ball out quick. I wouldn't even be surprised. I know that I said that they're going to run a lot of 12 personnel, but it's not going to surprise me either to spread this Raiders defense out and make them cover every blade of grass. I think Stephon Diggs is going to get a heavy workload. I don't like that matchup, Marcus Peters, but I also think, look, Jacorian Bennett is about to get baptism under fire.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis is no joke. That's a tough challenge for Jacorian. Stephon Diggs, they move all around, inside, outside.
Yeah.
Look, Jacorian is going to have a ton of targets headed his way, but we'll get into it a little bit later because I don't want to spoil anything. I don't think that's necessarily a terrible thing, but look, he's about to get a reality check into the NFL. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, that was
not
another matchup for sure. Secondary this versus this Bills receiver core, like they're pretty talented. And I'm
It's
gonna
not
include,
easy.
yeah, I'm gonna include not just the receivers, but also their tight ends.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you got the Dalton Kincaid. They drafted in the first round. He was like highly touted coming out. I know him and Michael Mayer were kind of tied for that number 1 tight end spot. Obviously, the Kincaid is pretty talented in his own right. He was the first tight end taken. He was taken in the first round. And then they also had Dawson Knox. So there's another guy that the Raiders have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting all this attention on guys like Stephon Diggs and Dalton Kincaid and the talented receiving core that they have. Gabe Davis, who's a size matchup. You know what I mean? You got to look at like our corners. Can they deal with the Gabe Davis? Let's be honest here. So we gotta put ourselves in the best situations possible to at least give this defense a chance and throw them off balance. But if you give this offense with the receiving core that they have a run game, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, and last week the Raiders struggled playing a contained defense against Russell Wilson. A lot of our edge defenders went inside, opening up run lanes to the outside, and that's a pivotal error that the Jets had last week. Playing contained, they were rushing inside pass rush moves, which is something Max Crosby really excels in. But I just really would like to see big edge defenders this game, contain the outsides, let Josh Allen stay within the pocket. He's a natural scrambler. He's naturally going to want to make plays with his legs, extend the field, create time for Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. He's always looking for that deep shot down the field.
Yeah.
But these guys have got to keep Josh inside of the pocket. You don't want these guys to get creative with their legs. As well as that, man, Max Crosby versus Spencer Brown. I say that as containing to the outside, but look, Spencer Brown let up the most pressures last week in week 1 with 5 pressures. Them as a whole, they had 5 sacks given up against the New York Jets. Now, I understand the Raiders defense isn't the New York Jets, but I expect Patrick Graham to come with a pretty aggressive game plan, probably in the second half. So
Max Crosby time.
A lot of that power. But here's the thing, man. He doesn't even have to necessarily explode. I just want him to play a sound. Like, if he can keep Josh in the pocket, I'm not as worried about, like, gaudy sack numbers. I just want to see them force Josh to make a bad read, be indecisive with his throws. I don't know that we're going to see many turnovers out of Josh Allen. I could see them simplifying this game plan, getting the ball out quickly, short passes, tight ends, Stephon, really working out in space. So trying to keep a game clean, especially coming off of a 3 turnover type of performance. So you got to expect that they're going to have a game plan where it's designed where the ball is going to go.
Right. Yeah, man. There's a lot of matchups in this game. But I just feel like, it's going to start in the inside, both for the Raiders on O-line and D-line, to protect Jimmy G, give him some time, keep him clean, because this D-line is pretty talented. And if you watch that Jets game, I know a lot of people don't really think highly of Zach Wilson, but think about how Aaron Rodgers got hurt. He was getting hurt, getting pressured, and we don't want to put Jimmy G in that type of situation. And I'm sure the coaching staff is aware of that. They're going to find ways to get the ball out quick, and that's part of Jimmy G's game, is getting the ball out quick. But yeah, man, I think it's going to be important to protect the quarterback and to get to the quarterback. I mean, they sacked Josh Allen like 5 times last game. And he had 3 interceptions, a fumble loss. That's the type of game the Raiders need to get into. We need to get him turn the ball over. Yes, because that's going to be extra possession for us, more opportunities for us to hold the ball, that clock, and the time and opportunity to score. So I think it's going to work in our favor.
The problem is do the Raiders have the talent to do so?
Yeah, we're gonna see, man. I think, and that's another one too. It's like the safeties, man. The safeties got to be active this game. They're gonna have opportunity, man. They're gonna have opportunities, and Patrick Graham likes to play that bend but don't break defense, and he's gonna force quarterbacks. Salute to Raid the
What's
tape,
going
man.
on, Raid?
Appreciate you coming through. The return of Raid, man. The
He's
return
been
of
MIA.
Raid, man.
Friend of the show, man. Hope you're good, Raid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, man, like I said, I'm excited to watch this game. This is a huge matchup. But yeah, man, you want to get into? Are you done with the matchups on your end?
No, I kind of want to lean offensively here. I think pass protection, Josh Jacobs versus Matt Milano.
Okay.
I think this is going to be big. I think Josh has improved. I think last week was probably one of his better pass protection performances of his career, to be honest with you. I mean, he was nasty, stood in there, opened up running lanes for Jimmy Garoppolo. I know talking about Jimmy Garoppolo making plays with his legs isn't ideal, right? But it was necessary. It was necessary for the Raiders win. So I thought that was big. Michael Mayer, I think that this is the week that we're going to start seeing him get involved in the passing game, especially against Terrell Bernard. Terrell Bernard for the Buffalo Bills had a rough, shaky week last week. A lot of Buffalo Bill fans were calling for the practice squad players to be elevated to take snaps over him. So you got to kind of strike while the iron's hot. You got to attack weaknesses where they are. And look, you can't come across a ton of them going against the Buffalo Bills defense. So if you feel like you have a matchup with Michael Mayer and Terrell Bernard, you've got to be able to attack that.
Right.
Also, offensive coordinators. Last week we watched Nathaniel Hackett, former Broncos head coach, go toe-to-toe with the Buffalo Bills defense and find a way to edge it out with a Zach Wilson. Now, I understand that that's not the quarterback that Buffalo was preparing for. So, they kind of were able to take advantage of that a little bit. But look, I believe Josh McDaniels is a better offensive mind than Nathaniel Hackett. And I'm going to lean on Josh's ability to call a game. Missing Jacoby Myers is going to be huge for this passing game. So the fact that he's gone and now you're going to have to rely on Hunter Renfrow and potentially Trey Tucker, DeAndre Carter, you're taking a step back because Jacoby Myers is a big asset to this offense. So I'm kind of curious to see what kind of game that Josh McDaniels can call.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's going to be interesting how they move in the passing game, because obviously you just mentioned Myers is hurt, and then Devontae Adams, we see him on the injury report, so he's a little bit banged up. So is this going to be the game where number 13 doesn't get 13 snaps? He gets more than 13 snaps, because that's how many snaps
he's probably going to get a lot more this game. Yeah.
So hopefully, we don't get the answer from Josh McDaniels that, the ball just goes to the open man. But the open man, what are you talking? You can't be talking about my guy number 13, Hunter Renfrow. He had 13 snaps. He wasn't even in the game to even catch anything.
Thankfully, though, for 13 snaps, we broke down the film, and he definitely is getting open. They had a shot.
Not 9 of those were on third down, so he might have took that third and Renfrow to heart.
Yeah, yeah, that's his role.
Yep, pretty much. But yeah, Renfrow, Michael Mayer, guys, and maybe Wilkerson. Wilkerson had some snaps. He had 13 snaps, tied with Hunter Renfrow last week, so we might see him more in the game. But we'll see how it shakes out with Devontae Adams, because this is going to be a good matchup on his end too with Tre'Davious White. He's one of the best cornerbacks at his position. He's 2 years removed from a serious knee injury, so he looks like, I know he gave up a play to Wilson here, but for the most part he played him tough. But it's kind of hard to gauge because Zach Wilson ain't really the best of quarterbacks. So if Aaron Rodgers were probably in the game, maybe Wilson would probably have a bigger game. Who knows? But I'm just going to go to the fact that, hey, we just seen Devontae Adams on the injury report. He's banged up. Myers is banged up. So guys like Mayer, second round pick, tight end, we need to see them incorporated. It seems right now the coaching staff right now is slowly kind of like bringing it, kind of like trying to. And you mentioned this too. You just hope that they don't try to force him to do something that he's not really good at right now, and not let him actually do what he's good at, and meaning receive the football. You know what I mean? Being
Yeah,
a receiver out there.
yeah. Last week I was talking about I fear that they're going to force him to develop as a blocker before they get him involved in the pass game. But I was just saying, hey, look, last week I think it was just 12 personnel. He was asked to block a ton. I just think that was the scheme, that was the game plan, specifically kind of like the Hunter Renfrow situation. I just think it was a more bigger physical running the ball downhill type of game.
Mhm.
So that's why we didn't see Hunter Renfrow get involved a little bit. I think that changes this week, obviously. Um, and which is also why I believe schematically, this is why Michael Mayer is going to step out and walk into his receiving. Hey, look, I was around some Notre Dame fans today, man, and I didn't think it was ironic. I already had Michael Mayer predicted to break out, and I had people
Okay.
asking, "Hey, what's my guy from Notre Dame gonna do for the Raiders?" And so everybody's starting to already ask about Michael Mayer, man, and I think that this is the game where he gets involved a little bit.
Yeah, man, I hope so. I called it last week. I was just trying to see who other than Devontae Adams, like the obvious guys, don't step up. And I was like, Michael Mayer, tight end. Jimmy G has history with tight ends, but right now I feel like coaching staff is kind of like easing his way up. But I think they're going to be forced to actually incorporate him in offense. And you made a good observation as far as like he's probably going to be matched up with a linebacker that's probably is struggling out there. So hopefully he has a big game. Renfro has a big game. And yeah, man, like, hey, we come out with the W at the end.
Yeah, Rated Tape says we don't have the defense, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a shootout.
Yeah, it's yeah, man. This is not the New York Jets defense, to say the least.
Yeah.
Outside of Max Crosby, man, I mean, somebody's got to step up. So I agree with you. I think that this is going to be an extremely tough game. So yeah, we haven't sugarcoated that matchup by any means. So what's
Yeah.
going on, Dirty Low? Shout out to you, man. Thank you for pulling up.
Salute.
What's going on, Dirty? And everybody that's in the building, man, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button, man. It helps us a lot. Shoots this video up the algorithm. Helps other Raider fans find the show. Makes it
But
better for you.
he had a question. I don't, but I think we probably answered it. Maybe a little bit. I think you answered Mayer. You said Mayer's gonna have the best game out of the three?
Of these three, it's gonna be hard because I think Hunter Renfrow is gonna get quite a bit of share. I'm gonna lean Michael Mayer though. That's what I'm gonna lean to. Do you think Aiden O'Connell gets activated this game?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, he wasn't active last game, right?
No,
But he was listed as the emergency quarterback.
but is that? Yeah, that's the case, right? That's
That's
the
like
new
a new
rule,
rule,
right?
like, yeah, like, because they didn't want what happened with, I think, Denver a few
Purdy.
years ago, where like they're pretty much down to like a receiver being quarterback. It was hella weird. Like, it was a weird situation.
Okay, so if
Quarterback.
Jimmy goes down and Hoyer is now the backup, does that activate Aiden to then
I
be able to
think
come
so.
in?
I gotta look back. I gotta look into it. I don't want to say anything incorrect.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into that.
But it is a new rule that's taking effect this year.
Read the tape. Egalitarian says Christian Wilkinson might have a big game. He might. Hey, look, they like him. They like his ability to kind of match and mimic what Jacoby Myers kind of does. So he comes from that Patriot system. He's a backup type of player, does some things kind of similar, led all receivers in the league in the preseason. So look, we'll see, man. I think he's going to have a role as well. Raid says, does Turner get any burn since Mayer is out? Oh, since Myers is out. Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to be activated for sure. Punt return and kick return though, Raid. I think DeAndre Carter's going to get that, and I'm going to get into him a little bit later.
Are you talking about Trey Tucker?
Yeah, I think he's talking about Trey.
Because DJ Turner got cut, I believe.
Yeah. He's talking about Trey Tucker, I believe.
Yeah.
But
hopefully he can catch the football.
Hey, I would like to see them get creative with Trey. I mean, I want to see him even line up as a running back and get him like a quick screen out and use that speed, get him out in space. Like,
yeah,
I would just be creative. You know what I mean? He's just one of those players. As long as you get the ball out in space, he can make a lot happen. So,
yeah,
no,
get him comfortable out there. He's a rookie. Let him get a taste out there. He doesn't have to play a lot of snaps, but let him get some snaps where,
and I think some of those trick plays would be easy for him, right? Is like those short check downs, short screens, just get the ball in his hand, get him used to getting into this offense, and get him contributing in some way. So I don't think
your audio went out. Audio went out. But yeah, man. Hey, Trey Tucker, man, for me is just he got
Hear
to. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
Trey Tucker for me, I think he just needs to hold on to that football. I think he needs
Yeah,
to.
bro.
The coaching staff needs to get a little bit more confident in him. I think that's going to happen. This is going to take a little bit of time. And yeah, just make it easy. Have him do things that he's good at. Like, don't have him running anything that he's not good at. Like you said, maybe a couple of trick plays, maybe a couple of routes that they know that he's comfortable running, and that's about it. I don't think they should give him a whole lot of run right now. He has to prove a lot, to be honest.
Keep his playbook thin.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's got to force of the drops. Let's see what else here, man. Okay, let's go into
keys of the game.
keys of the game, man. Let's do it.
Keys of the game, man. We should have like a sound effect for that right there. That's a big one.
That should be the purge.
That should be the purge.
Keys to victory.
Man.
There we go. All right, man.
Keys to victory, man. All right, y'all need to pay attention now.
All right. Go ahead and start us off here.
All right. Well, hey, for me, looking back at that Jets game, you look at how the Jets beat the Bills. The Jets, when Aaron Rodgers went down at quarterback, you thought, hey, the Bills are going to win this game. It's no brainer. Zach Wilson is trash. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. Like we seen what he did last year. He until he proves otherwise, he's not a good player right now. And some of it has to do with interior pressure. I think if the Raiders can get to Josh Allen, that is going to be huge because he wants to hold on to the football and throw it deep. So if he wants to hold on to the football and throw it deep, we got to get to him and force him into mistakes. And that has to start with pressure. So I think it's going to be huge if we can get someone outside of Max Crosby, because I said interior pressure. So that means guys like Bilal Nichols. Man, if my guy Tyree Wilson on third down, man, throw him inside. But
I'm curious to see how he responds.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like, and I like what you just said. What you just said is very true. Let's kick him inside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When he was over there at Texas Tech and they moved him on the inside as a defensive tackle, pass rushing defensive tackle, third down, nasty. Yeah. He's hard. He has too much length for the guards. The guards got shorter arms. He's just able to make contact, get in their chest, and push him back into the quarterback. So get creative with him. Don't just put him out there on an island, especially if his get off is the way that it is.
Yep.
Put him on the inside and let him be disruptive in that aspect. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So, and then so interior pressure. I think pressure overall, getting to the quarterback is going to be huge against Josh Allen because he wants to throw it deep, and those types of plays take time to develop. So if you're not getting to him, he's going to eat you alive with his ability to throw it downfield. He has an arm. He can be accurate at times, and he has weapons too. So I think that's going to be huge. My next thing is pretty much we have to establish the run game. We're going to have to establish a run game. When you watch the Jets, you like I said, I'm watching the Jets and I'm seeing like how did the Bills lose against the Jets? Well, they gave up 160 yards rushing. You know, Breece Hall had 10 carries for 127 yards.
Yep.
You had Dalvin Cook. He had 13 carries for 33 yards. You know what I mean? You know, look, at the end of the day, if they're able to establish a run game like that, if the Raiders are able to establish a run game, they're going to be able to get what they want on offense. Let's be honest. Like they like going play action with Jimmy G and taking advantage of matchups. And I think that's going to protect him as a quarterback. And I think that can get the Raiders at least time of possession. You got to think about what the run game is going to do. It's going to take time of possession, and it's going to give them ability to score a little bit easier. So I think that establishing a run game is going to be huge against the Bills. And I know Ray earlier he mentioned like, hey man, I don't think this defense has enough, but there's ways around it. And playing keep away is a way to keep that ball away from and establishing a run game is a good way to keep the ball away from the Bills.
Let me ask you this real quick. Do you think that Buffalo Bills going to stack the box and worry about taking Josh Jacobs away before they take Devontae Adams away because they like the matchup that they have in the secondary against Jimmy Garoppolo?
You're saying that they're going to put people in the box to
they're going to make Jacobs the primary focus and eliminate him first and make Jimmy throw the ball.
I think so because I'm pretty sure they're pretty aggressive. And that's especially because this year the defensive play calling duties have been transferred to the head coach, who's a defensive head coach, Sean McDermott. Before that was his name is he was there before him, but if someone in the chat, man, if y'all can call it out, man, for me. But anyways, Sean McDermott is taking the play calling the duties on defense, and he's a lot more aggressive. And I think he's going to want to take away that run game, and he's going to force Jimmy G to beat him. I know Jimmy G played well this game, but I'm sure he feels a lot of confidence when you have Matt Milano, when you have those talented safeties back there, when you have those cornerbacks led by Tre'Davious White, when you have that D line. You know what I mean? When you have talented players like that on defense, you can be a lot more aggressive. So they're going to try to make it real simple. Take away the run game and put them in third and long. I'm pretty sure they're probably saying the same thing that we're trying to say to do to Josh Allen, and they're going to want to attack our offense. So I think they're going to for sure try to take away Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think also I've got red zone percentage. Last week we go 2 for 4. There's a turnover in the red zone, timely mistake by Jimmy Garoppolo. Look, that's got to get cleaned up this game. You cannot settle for field goals against the Buffalo Bills. I know last week it was a low scoring game and they won it on a punt return. But look, you can't expect that for the Raiders-Bills matchup. You've got to expect the Bills to be firing on all cylinders, especially against this defensive matchup. I'm sure Josh Allen is just licking his chops, looking at Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis with the rookie cornerback out there with a 30-year-old Marcus Peters coming off of a knee injury 2 years ago, whatever the case may be. Look, you guys, especially with the safeties, I believe Trayvon Merrick is still dealing with a thumb. So is he going to be in a cast? You know, that's going to tempt a guy like Josh Allen that, hey, is he going to be able to make a play on the ball with interceptions?
Yep.
So these are all things to take into consideration, you guys. So red zone percentage, man, it has to be good. The Buffalo Bills red zone defense is up in the top echelon of the NFL, right? These guys know what they're doing. They're complex when it comes into the red zone. They play fast. They're aggressive. They make you get the ball out quick. Jimmy Garoppolo's got to perform very, very well.
Yeah.
On top of that, turnovers. I'm not just talking about turning over the football against Josh Allen. I'm talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. You got to keep the ball away from this Buffalo Bills defense. If they start creating turnovers, fumbles, interceptions, this could be a long, long game. So, Raiders, let's get after it, man. Let's find a way to create a turnover on Josh Allen. For me personally, I've got a breakout player since that kind of wraps up our keys to victory. I've got Jacorian Bennett getting the first interception of the year this game. I think he's going to get a ton of targets. I think he's going to get
definitely.
He's going to get plenty of opportunities to make a play on the ball. And I think if you test him one too many times, I think Jacorian's going to be able to make you pay for at least one of them. So Jacorian Bennett, the rookie, he's going to come away with his first INT of the year for me.
You don't think it's going to come from one of the safeties? Marcus Epps, Morig, because he's going to want to throw it deep, and those guys are going to have to be ready to attack that ball when it's in the air. And you look at Jordan Whitehead for the Jets, he had 3 interceptions, strong safety. Yep. Marcus Epps plays that position. But the thing is that Marcus Epps has 3 career interceptions, and Jordan Whitehead has 3 interceptions in one game. So I don't know if that's a lot to ask for him to do, but we'll see. We'll see what he does, man. But I'm with you when it comes to Jacorian Bennett, though. Like I like when I see him from that first game, and he's definitely going to get plenty of opportunities. I think what it is in his matchup, if he's ever matched up with Diggs, I think Diggs is just going to get what he is. He's going to get a lot of volume. Last game he had 10 catches, 100 yards, a touchdown. I think it's just
he's going to get his.
Yeah, we're just going to have to live with that fact. But is Jacorian going to compete? Is he going to be making tackles like he did in open field? And then when the play is there, does he make it?
What I like about Jacorian, he has nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
He's a rookie in this game. He knows that. Last week the game wasn't too big for him. He played physical. He knows he's going up against, top 3, top 5 wide receiver in the league. Hey, he can just play aggressive, play instinctive. Nobody's expecting him to go out there and shut down Stephon Diggs. So make the plays that come your way. Also, one more breakout player that's going to be kind of surprising. So I went Jacorian Bennett, a little bit unique. I'm going to go DeAndre Carter. I think he's going to have a big special teams play. Last week, we seen the Jets win that game in overtime with a punt return.
Okay.
DeAndre Carter is among the top of the league when it comes to breakaway speed and the ability to make guys miss on punt returns. I want to attack that. You know what I mean? This is a game of 3 phases. So if the Raiders can take advantage of field positioning, I would love to see DeAndre Carter break off a big punt return or 2 potentially.
Yeah, and I'll add this too. One of the reasons why last week was a really ugly game was because we were heavily penalized. We had 10 penalties for 97 yards. 6 of those came on defense and were automatic first downs, and 3 out of 4 that happened on offense happened in the red zone. And you mentioned the red zone percentage earlier and how they need to, when they get there, they need to score touchdowns, especially against the Bills, because the Bills are explosive. And if we're going to have to win, we're going to have to clean up these penalties, or at least don't do it in bad times. I think we kind of accept right now, as a Raider fan, I kind of accept that the Raiders are going to get penalized. It is what it is, man. We how many different coaches, how many different regimes, we're always in the top of the list as far as penalized team. I don't know what it is. I think I do. I think the NFL just hates the Raiders, but that's just me.
Come on, you knew that.
Yeah, man, it is what it is. But I just think that don't have these penalties, I just know that they're going to get penalized, but at the end of the day, don't have them come in the wrong time. Like, for example, red zone, third down, those types of situations.
Marcus Peters.
Yeah, man. But I didn't really see the replay on it because it was like
it was tacky. It was a little bit tacky. It was illegal contact, but he wasn't even going that direction. He rolled out left. That happened down the field on the right side of the field. It was it's one of those iffy ones.
Yeah. It is what it is.
But it cost the Raiders a turnover. So regardless.
Yeah.
Is this a game that Max Crosby actually starts getting some calls on holding?
He kind of did last game. He kind of did. It took him a while, you know what I mean? Because usually it does take him a little while to we have to actually call a penalty on the other team that's playing against the Raiders. We don't want to make it too obvious.
No.
But yeah, Max obviously he's gonna get held. You know what I mean?
Is this the year that he garners that respect around the league? It's like you look at all these premier pass rushers and in big time games they get the calls, right? Do you think that this is the year?
I think he has the respect of Raider Nation, people who are football fans, like real football fans that and they love watching football. They don't even have to be fans of the Raiders. But I think for him to get that national, like without a doubt, ESPN top, Sports Center, I think it's going to take for him to be leading the sacks, like
and the Raiders to be good,
leading the league of sacks or leading a top defense. This is what it is. He's going to do a lot. He has to do a lot because right now he's not playing in let's be honest, for right now he's not playing on one of the best defense. Hopefully that changes, but for right now, he needs to lead the league in sacks for him to get that kind of respect. Because if you think about it, look, even Josh Jacobs, he led the league in rushing, but he's not really getting talked about like that. Like he led the league in rushing, man. He had one of the best years last year, if not the best year as a running back. But I don't think he's getting that respect. I think a lot of people like Nick Chubb over him. They'll talk about other running backs, I think, before Josh Jacobs. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Mafia Mom is in the building. Says first time checking out your show. I'm a Bills fan, but I got nothing against the Raiders. I hope it's a good game and both teams leave healthy.
Yeah, man, that's the hope, man. That's the one thing I hate about football is just players get hurt, man. That's just, I love watching the best athletes, the best players playing, but they sometimes do get hurt. But hopefully it's a healthy game for sure, no doubt.
Steel McCoy says Jimmy needs to stay clean. That's the game. Yeah, we'll see, man. Hey, just another DJ says this game's going to depend on the third-year players stepping up. Hobbs, Morag, Kuntz, Diablo. And those guys had a big game week 1, right? We talked about that on the recap show about how the year 3 players really stepped up. So we covered this topic post-game for the Broncos, and I think you nailed it, right? Those year 3 players look to seem like they're taking a jump. Now let's see if they can build on that. Look, they're going to get tested this game, so we're going to really see where they're at.
I'll give you a question. I'll give you a question to the chat as well. Out of the 4 players that he just mentioned, Hobbs, Morag, Kuntz, and Diablo, who's most likely to get a turnover? Force a turnover?
I'm going to go it's tied between 2 players, Hobbs and Diablo. I think if it's a turnover, I think Diablo gets a fumble recovery.
He almost had one last game.
He almost had one. I think he's just going to be around the ball a lot this year. I think he's going to get more opportunities. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, Hobbs though, man, he has the ability to punch the ball out too. They blitz him a lot. They line him up in the box a lot. So if they're attacking the slot, maybe him and Gabe Davis get into it. That's tough, man. I'm gonna go Nate Hobbs.
Going Nate Hobbs? Okay.
Yeah.
Nate Hobbs is all over the place, man.
Yeah.
He's at home right now at that slot spot, making all types of tackles. Still McCoy says Kuntz. I want to see Kuntz get more snaps or comparable snaps to Tyree Wilson. Man, I just feel like right now Tyree Wilson, it's going to take him a little bit longer. My camera just went out. Just bear with me.
But no, put him on the inside too. I think that's big. What you were talking about earlier. Don't sleep on number 7, Teron Johnson. Yes, the Bills nickel CB. He makes plays. He makes a ton of plays. Look, it's hard to say that there's a bad player. You know what I mean? Outside of Terrell Bernard, who had a rough game last week. Look, overall defensively, they've got everything you want. Farrell alluded to it earlier. This is a Super Bowl caliber team. They're going to be competing. They're going to be pushing the Chiefs in the AFC. So we're going to find out where the Raiders measure. You know what I mean? Defensively, talent-wise, we're not there. I agree with Ray the Tape. We're not there, guys. That's just the fact of the matter. So, but look, this is a good measuring place. And look, let's see if the Raiders can get in there and kind of surprise some people. Raiders must run the football religiously this game. We'll see, man. Hey, if it turns into a shootout, we might have to
put the number on the board to give people a chance to call in.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have the number? Yep. There you go. Oh, actually put that number down. Hold on one second.
Take it down.
Hold on one second.
Let's see here. Oh, T. Saveer's in the building, man. It's good to see you. Marek has to be better in coverage. We didn't draft him to tackle. We could have kept Abram for that. He's the guy who will get the most opportunities to create turnovers. Yeah, look, I agree, T. Severe. I think the tackles were important. I think that's something that he thrived in that cover 3 system. And last week, we did play a lot of cover 3, cover 2. So I think that's where kind of Merrick kind of shines, is his ability to tackle. It's gonna be a duty that he has, and also limiting explosive plays on the back end of this defense with Josh Allen being able to take shots. So yeah, he's got to be better in coverage. I'm curious to see how he's going to be able to make plays on balls, if especially he's going to have a cast on his hand. I don't know if he's going to start the game with a cast on it or not, or kind of see how that thumb feels. So no, great comment, man. I agree with you. Steel McCoy says Max will get the bracket. The other ends need to get some. Yeah, look,
you can put the number up.
Okay, dude, look, Max gets tight end, right tackle, running back. You got a trio blocking Max at all times, and he's still out here making plays. So regardless of what they do on Mac's side, at some point he's going to make a play. So you said put the number back up. Okay.
Yeah. So you see the number on the board, man, 628-333-9343, man. Hey, this is an opportunity for y'all to call in, talk about the game tomorrow, your thoughts, who's going to win, matchups you guys like. Any type of Chandler Jones. I know earlier we were talking about Chandler Jones and whose fault that was. Obviously, in my opinion, I think that's just a mistake on the McDaniels, Ziegler regime. You know what I mean? But it's not the end all be all. But let us know your thoughts, man. Call in. You can see the number on the board. It's 628-333-9343. Also, make sure to hit that like button. It's very important that you all do that. We want to keep coming back and doing these shows, but in order to do so, you guys got to support. So make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and also hit the notification bell so you guys get notified every time we go live, anytime we drop content. Right now, I'm on Ray's show. I shouldn't even say that. Moving forward, we're actually going to be on both channels. So just wherever you're watching it, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And yeah, man, we'll be here every week, every Saturday, every Tuesday. And I think I might be going live during halftime. Thinking about it. It's going to be an early game, but I'm going to be, I might be going live tomorrow to go to enjoy this Raiders Bills game. So if just be on the lookout. I post my community tab and social media. And we got someone on the board. You said, Mafia Mom, do you guys see a cornerback traveling with Diggs or playing sides, or is it a heavy zone?
I think personally you're going to see zone.
That's what Patrick Graham does all the time. He loves to play zone.
Yeah, I don't see them traveling. Look, I'm not comfortable with having Marcus Peters deal with Stephon Diggs for a full game. And I don't think Marcus Peters wants that. So I think you move him around. I think you give him a blend of Hobbs, Peters. I think they like the matchup probably across the board with a lot of those guys for different reasons. So,
Right.
yeah, I think Stephon Diggs is going to be moving around a lot. Obviously, you being a Bills fan know they put him inside, outside. They flex him out. So he's going to be moving all over the place. I think you guys are going to target Jacorian Bennett, who's a rookie corner for us.
Yeah.
Aggressive player. He does have the ability to make a play on the ball. So I would watch for testing him too much because I think he has the ball skill ability to make a play. But no, that's obviously an advantage that you're going to take advantage of is Stephon Diggs versus a rookie. So yeah.
To be honest with you, like the Raiders' best approach on defense is going to be bend but don't break defense. And if
Yep.
there's an opportunity for a turnover and they take advantage of that, that's going to be huge for them defensively. But like matching up with the Bills, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Appreciate it, my guy.
Here says that this game will probably feature a lot of zone. Anytime you have a running quarterback, you can't have the majority of your secondary with your backs to him. Yeah, and look, we talked about it at the beginning of the season too when we were looking at the cornerbacks that they brought in because when they brought back Brandon Faison, which was a cover 3 guy for Gus Bradley, Marcus Peters played a ton of zone. They moved Nate Hobbs back inside the nickel, which that's where he found his home his rookie year with Gus Bradley in that cover 3 system. With the moves that they made, I felt like, oh, they're going to go play a lot more zone this season than what they did the previous year. So yeah, you guys, this is going to be a theme moving forward. And plus, look at how they responded against the Denver Broncos. Everything was a lot more simplified, forced Russell Wilson to check the ball down a ton in the second half. They came up and made tackles. They were clean and efficient. When you run that cover 3 system, it's about keeping things short in front of the sticks and coming up and making clean tackles. So if this team is a good tackling team, then yeah, you play to the strengths of the defense and kind of run with it that way. Egalitarian says Patrick Graham does not play enough man on the back end. Patrick Graham needs to blitz more often. I think that's going to be second half adjustment. First half, I don't know what these all going to show, but second half, I think you can expect a lot more blitzes.
Yeah.
Mafia Mom says, great info. Thanks for the insight. Honestly, I think you guys are going to have to keep a real close eye on Kincaid. The way Allen forced things so much, he's got to use the middle of the field. That's why they drafted him in the first round. It's a good point. And look, the Raiders linebacker situation is iffy, right? You've got Robert Spillane, who's more of a downhill thumper in the run game. So I like that matchup for run defense purposes. But look, Divine Diablo that we have, he's been, talked about over the last few years of being a cover guy and stepping into that role. And we just haven't seen it yet. But last week was probably his best performance as a Raider. And he just looked like a healthy player who looks like he's taken a jump. So look for number 5, Divine Diablo, Mafia Mom, tomorrow as coverage ability against Dalton Kincaid, and also Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs is a nickel defensive back, but I think he's going to get a lot of reps against Dalton Kincaid. So, and Nate Hobbs is a heck of a football player. So you guys are going to be introduced to him tomorrow. So
you think a lot of Patrick Graham is more of like wait and see approach? He likes to see what the offense gives him, and then before he attacks.
Yeah, I think you want to get formations. You want to see how they're operating. You're developing a theme. You're collecting data that first half, especially it being so early on in the year. How are they attacking us? What formations and plays are they going to on third down? Who are they targeting? All these things play a factor into play calling, and I think that's the big adjustments that you see in the second half of the Broncos game, right? Like Sean Payton being a year out of football, you don't know what he's going to do the first half. They collect and analyze some of that data, which is the kind of guy that Patrick Graham is. Boom, they come into the second half and they hold the Denver Broncos offense to 3 points and 40 yards passing. So I think the big adjustments and the big jump in the Raiders defense is going to come the second half, especially if this is a close game.
No doubt.
Darth Raider, appreciate you for tuning in, man. T Severe says, I think we'll see at least 1 or 2 blitzes from Hobbs. Guaranteed. No, I guarantee it. One of the blitzers in the league from the secondary. I agree 100%. I love, too, that they have him in the box like that. I love that they had him lined up with the linebackers. He was able to just sniff out like all those checkdowns, like that cover 3, cover 2. His ability to just read and react and get in the backfield and make clean tackles,
take advantage of his skill set.
It was phenomenal. And that's something that we didn't see last year, and I don't think the Raiders had the talent last year. They needed Hobbs on the boundary. You know what I mean? They needed Hobbs outside last season, so this year, with Jacorian stepping up, that's the luxury that they have to move him inside.
Do you see a guy like Hobbs like transitioning to safety? Do you think that's you see that ever?
I think Hobbs is
because he's such a
He's a
a
Swiss
guy that,
Army knife.
yeah, like he's a physical guy. You know what I mean? You could blitz him like T. Severe just mentioned. I just feel like, he could also play that position, but I don't know. There might be more to it than that. But I just feel like this is a guy like he's talented. He has a specific skill set, but I
I'll
don't
say
see him
this: as
being.
long as Merrick and Epps is healthy, I think you keep that rotation between those two because they both flip between strong safety and free safety. Like
Yeah,
Merrick wasn't the free safety, and Epps was not the strong safety. Those guys rotated a lot.
yeah,
I think with Hobbs playing his best ball in the nickel, blitzing, check downs, that situation, put him in that, and I think you probably have an all-pro nickel DB. So
mm,
keep him in the slot like that. Keep him doing what he's doing, and he's going to make his money. So,
yeah.
thanks. I'll keep my eyes open for them. Seriously, great info. Jacob scares us on the other side. I mean, he
There you
led the
go.
league last year, so I think he scares everybody in the National Football League. So it's not just you. It's going to be a nice matchup. Steel McCoy says almost a must-win level of game for Buffalo. They'll be bringing the house all game. Hope Josh's legs have more juice this game. Yeah, for sure. Darth Raider says 5 look better laterally. Hobbs might be used as a hybrid linebacker. 100%. Darth Raider says just subscribe, man. I appreciate that, man. I really do. Thank you for the support. If the Raiders keep it close and survive the first half wave of attacks, they have a chance. 100%, DJ. Like, this game might be a little bit closer. Like, I feel like this is either going to be a closer game than what we're expecting, or this has potential to be a blowout. Like, I'm not even going to lie. Like, this has potential that if Josh Allen comes and shows up to play football and they're motivated, they play clean, they don't turn the football over, they get guys out in space, I could see Buffalo run up the score on the Raiders defense. You know what I mean? I hope that's not the case. I hope we see a lot of 12 personnel, big physical type of game and matchup. I think that's where the Raiders succeed. Time of possession, red zone efficiency, everything that we talked about. But
I think the Raiders are going to be happy if they make this game ugly.
yeah, like just yeah, you might be right, man.
You know what I mean? Because you do not want this, because oh my God, like a Josh Allen back there all day to throw with all these weapons.
I don't want to see Jimmy G throw the ball 40 times in a shootout game with Josh Allen.
Nah,
because I don't like the odds.
Yeah. I mean, at least have Myers back there, Jacoby back there. Then you could be like,
then
all
I
right,
feel a little bit more comfortable.
We have some guys that we can probably match up or score back there. But with Myers down, it's and I'm not sure. I'm not sure where Jimmy G's comfortability is with this receiving core. We know that he's comfortable with Jacoby Myers, but then Devontae Adams, they still need to work some kinks out. Obviously, we only seen Hunter Renfrow with 13 snaps. Michael Mayer, did he even have a target at all last game? So this offense is going to get better, but I think Jimmy G needs to get comfortable with the guys that he has with on.
And I think Josh is going to show up and call a game. Like I don't think that there's just obviously Devontae is your number one target. You're scheming him open all game. You're trying to find ways to get him the football. That's a given. We don't even really have to talk about that on a given week. That's obvious at this point. But I want to see Jimmy be able to distribute the football in an unpredictable fashion. Get the running backs involved. Buffalo comes up to the line of scrimmage, shows a bunch of heavy blitzes. Get the ball out to the running backs. You know what I mean? Get Josh Jacobs involved in the pass game. Use the screen game to lighten up those blitzes. If they want to play aggressive, make them pay for it. Let them over pursue and beat them on big chunk plays by dumping it off to the running back. I just want to see guys. I want to see Christian Wilkerson get involved since Jacoby Myers is out. I want to see Hunter Renfrow get a few targets this game. Maybe go to him early. I think that's something that you're going to see as well. Is they're going to get the ball in Hunter Renfrow's hands early in this game, just to get him involved, to get him going and get him ready for the second half. So
yeah,
we'll see though. T. Severe says, ironically, we were very worried about our linebacker core, and they might have been our best unit last week. Seems that the switch has been flipped for Diablo, and he's seeing the game like a linebacker.
Looks like we have a call.
Predictions? T. Severe?
Raphael Chastain.
Oh,
we got Raph.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
What's going on, Raph?
Oh, Ritter Ray, Farrell, salute to you, folks.
What's going on, brother?
Well, I'm doing good because right now I'm just watching a film study about Michael Mayer, and of course, it's a Saturday night, and I'm just watching the UFC fight now between Russell versus Valentina Shevchenko. But I just have my prediction about the Raiders versus Buffalo Bills. I mean, the Buffalo Bills had very strong, but over the last performance against New York Jets, I mean, they just win a lot of issues about it. And I think that Las Vegas Raiders could be like an opposite game. If we had the linebacker room between Tulane, they have Luke Masterson and Devon Diablo could be loaded. But I think the only reason about it because they have to send the focus on Marcus Peters, which is definitely a good option to make it to like make some damage for the linebacker and of course the whole defense of Buffalo Bills. It's not going to be easy at all. And some persons they just told that Tyree Wilson is a draft bust, but I don't see that Tyree Wilson is a draft bust because he takes it a lot of time. But we just had enough of the patience, and right now we just need Tyree Wilson getting back in action because I understood that he has foot injury, but I think that Tyree Wilson he needs to prepare. He needs some time to heal him up, and of course he needs to prepare all the power to get in action because I don't think that Tyree Wilson is not a draft boss. And some people they're just thinking about Jalen Carter, but it's something about different because if they bring Tyree Wilson over here because that's a good option. And for me, he needs to take some time to get at what's the great point, and of course he will speak about the great power. He needs to involve the speed, also the greatness. I mean, they could be happy like this one.
So before we get out of here, Rafa, do you got a score prediction for this game?
I have a score prediction of Las Vegas Raiders 30 and Buffalo Bills 20. So it's not going to
Hey.
Well, I appreciate that, Rafa. Hey, thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you for calling in and giving us your insight. We always appreciate it, brother. So take care, okay?
Appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Just like all David said, just win, baby. Raider Nation for life.
Win, baby.
All right, boy.
Yeah, perfect. Hey, guys, look, this is a great show. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Look, we got a big game tomorrow. You want to do a quick score prediction? You got a score?
Do I have a score? You know, I'm never going to pick against the Raiders. Come on now. I'm not going to do that. I think it's going to be a tough game. If they're going to win it, I think it's going to be 27-24.
Oh, okay. You took mine.
Raiders. You know, hey, man, like we outlined in our keys to victory, man, I think Josh Jacobs has got to be huge this game. Hopefully he knocks off the rust. Maybe we get a turnover here and there, maybe a couple of interceptions. Because Josh Allen, man, I gotta find that stat. But it was stemming from last season to this season. The amount of turnovers he's been turning over the ball left and right, and I'm sure we had some Buffalo Bills fans. They probably can tell you that.
Yeah, he had 14 turnovers last year, and whatever he had last week. So
right, yeah, he had 3 interceptions in a lost fumble.
And a fumble, so 4 turnovers, so 18
so there's
turnovers.
gonna be an opportunity. The Raiders got to be ready to capitalize. That is what it is.
We talked about it all off season. You know what I mean? We're going to keep talking about it until we see it in the game. So Raiders want to create turnovers. This is the time to start making them. So this is the perfect matchup, right? They're going to give you the opportunity. It's time to capitalize on it. SVT says 28-21 Raiders. Hey, let's get it. T Severe says our game had 10 less total possessions than an average game last season. I agree 100%. 4th and 1 play showed me who Jimmy is. They sniffed out the pick route, and he made a play instead of throwing the ball away. Love it, T Severe. Yeah, hey guys, thank you guys for tuning in. On your way out, make sure
wait. Hold on.
What do you got?
What's your score prediction for tomorrow's game? No, you had me predict the
score. You took mine, so I didn't want to say the exact same thing. I'll adjust it a little bit. Let's just say that both offenses start to have to get creative, man. I'm gonna go. I'll just so we're not the same. I'm gonna go 30-27 Raiders.
30-27. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
So we'll see. Hey, look,
he tried it.
I tried.
DJ,
I tried to get out the back door.
He tried to smoothly just get out of here. Like, all right, y'all, I'll see you later. Put me on the spot.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Hey, look, I gotta remind everybody, this is the game. Hey, if the Raiders come out, I made a promise, right? I'm gonna go get that ugly Josh McDaniels visor. And I'm gonna rock the AOC mustache. So,
hey man,
part of me
be prepared, man. Be prepared for Ray. Don't judge him. He's a good guy, but if the Raiders win tomorrow, like you just said right now, ugly Josh McDaniels visor, and 1970 stash. Everything got to be clean shaved off. Just hey,
gosh, bro.
maybe like
Twist it.
at the end.
Oh no, he's
Like an
rocking
evil-
that bushy
evil-
caterpillar mustache. So Raider Ray's gonna be. Oh gosh, it's gonna be bad, bro. All right, y'all. We're out of here, man. This is getting off the rails a little bit. SVT says not the visor. I know, right, bro? God forbid. This might be the one time where if it's a close game, let's just drop maybe 1 point. But all right, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. Raiders got a big game. You want to send them out the right way, Farrell?
Just win, baby.
All right, y'all.